We found a broken gas tank strap when we were working on this thing, so I went and ordered some new ones there. We got to change that out. In order to change that out, you can see there's the remainder of the strap right there on the gas tank. And we've got the steel plate, skid plate, shield, whatever you want to call it, that protects the gas tank. And we got to drop that down. Have some bolts up in here. And that not only does that hold this shield, the skid plate, it also basically bolts on our tow package. So we got to remove all those, but the problem is this one fastener here is just spinning, so that means that I had to remove the bumper. So in order to remove this bumper here, basically you're going to have two screws, one there, one there, one there, and one there. So you remove those two screws. And then on the bottom, you're going to have a series of these plugs that you have to remove. And I got some laying around on the ground here. And there's the holes for those plugs on the bottom. So you remove all them plugs. And then once you've got the plugs and the screws removed, there's these slots here. One on either side. One on this side, and one on that side. On the side of the Jeep here, this is the pin that those slots engage. So now that you've removed your screws and your fasteners on the bottom, you should be able to grab that, pull it straight back, and it should come out. Mine didn't come out because underneath the sill plate here on the back bumper, somebody put a screw right there. So it wouldn't come out. So I popped that sill plate off, I find that screw, and it was a Phillips screw, stripped out, couldn't get it out. And my attempt to drill it out basically just heated it up and melted that hole in there. So basically melted it free. So here we are. We've got the rear bumper off, and I need to get this bumper off so I can get at that fastener that's spinning on the inside. And if we take a look, that's the fastener that's spinning in there. Here's where we're at. We got another fastener that's the head stripped. Can't get that out. We're gonna have to cut that off, and then again we're gonna try and get that fastener out next. We've dropped down that skid plate, that shielding. We've moved over our trailer package over to the side here. That wiring that connects to the bottom there, that's there's some connections in along here. You just pop those out, set that over to the side, it's out of the way. You can see where our broken strap is that we got to replace. This piece here, what I had to do was basically had to weld that nut on there, and then that was how I was able to get that off. We're going to remove this rear bumper bracket out of there, and those factory studs are threaded into some nuts that are on that bracket. So it's supposed to stay like that so that you can install your tow package, and skid plate for your gas tank and stuff like that. So I'm going to remove those and get them out of there. And in order to do that, what I did was just took some 1/2-inch nuts and I welded them on there. But you want to be gently, Bentley, because you're right beside the gas tank here. So just be aware of that while you're welding around the gas tank and stuff. But what other options do you have, right? So we'll weld those nuts on there, and then we're just going to use the impact. Hopefully those are going to come out nice. We're going to soak the top up with some penetrating fluid and stuff like that, and we're hoping they're going to come out good. The next option would be to use the angle grinder and basically cut it off flush with that. Hopefully you can pop that up and slide it out. Either or, those are the two methods that I've come up with for this. We got that bracket out of there. Wasn't as easy as we expected, so we welded the nuts on the end of those studs there. But then once we did that, then the nuts that were fixed to the bracket started spinning, so we had to tack those in place. And then finally we got everything apart and got it out of there. So when you receive the new straps, they're just going to be bare steel. So what we did was we just sanded them down and cleaned them up with some brake cleaner, acetone, or some kind of alcohol to that effect, so that you can clean the metal and then give it some paint. So we're just going to paint those in hopes that they'll just last a little longer. We got our new strap on there. So what we did was just remove the old strap, and we took the rubber off and put it on the new one. And the rubber is actually in pretty good shape all the way through. And then basically to put this in, you're going to come in from behind at an angle like this, put it in that slot, twist it, and then it's in place. But when we go to hook up the other end, something strange was happening there. Here's the slot here where our bolt's going to go into place, and it wasn't lining up properly. I'll show you on the bench what the problem is. So the problem is this isn't bent enough at a 90-degree angle, and what I've done is I've kind of lined up the head so you can see the difference there. So what I did was I took this one over here and I clamped it in the vise on here, and then I heated the corner, and then I just hammered this down until it was more of a 90-degree angle. So what we'll do is we're going to fit this in, and then hopefully that'll line up properly in the slot. Before it was pretty janky. It wasn't secure in the slot. We got the impact down here to with the deep socket, and that's 9/16 to loosen off the nut. And that rod, that bolt will come out of the slot in the back there. Now that's hanging down, all you got to do is just got to manipulate this, work it, and manipulate it out of the hole there. And now we got it on the ground. We'll take our rubber off, and then we'll put it on our new strap, and then reinstall everything. We've already got this one holding it up on that side, and those hoses and everything also are also hooked up. So that in a way will help support it as well while we change this strap. You want to make sure that you have full contact all the way around from this corner to this corner here. Lastly, so what I'm just using the impact with the deep socket to run those nuts up the bolts there. These are the old ones. I'll likely keep them. The last thing you want to do is grab your measuring tape. You want to have the same distance on the end of each one of these rods underneath in the back there. That'll be the end of that for today. The next project will be figuring out what we're going to do with this rear bumper.